let's go. All right. Second question.
So
What are we talking about?
The cells are the ones that give us the energy to move our bodies and our minds around. Correct? Or
No.
so, well, okay. Let me refine the question.
Yeah.
How does the body receive energy from the cells? Because we now know that the food is not what energizes the cells necessarily directly, and the body gets the energy from the cells. So,
well, what I want to interrogate that question with is, what is the difference between the body and the cells?
Correct. You're asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
The cells are what makes up the body.
Okay, so the body is the cell. So there is no cells feeding the body. There's only the body is the cells.
The body is the cell.
Yeah.
And within its many different bodies or cells.
Yeah. There's just cells practically. I mean, you do have the trillions of microorganisms living in there as well that are all feeding off of the cosmic energy that each cell is providing, like a atmospheric layer of elements with. But the body is the cells is the body. It's cellular body, like you were just saying. There's many bodies, but the cellular body. So if you want to talk about different, like, does the cells feed different bodies? No, more. Well, yes. Well, no. The cellular body is actually the most physical body in actuality, because below that you have the atomic body and the subatomic body. Then you have the pure etheric body, and that'll get you deeper into all the other cultural and religious bodies that are talked about, like where the different heavens are at, and Buddha bodies and such. Yeah.
So what is it then? What is it? Because you just said it was plasma gas, right?
Yeah.
So then that's how food gives us energy, because we turn that into gas.
Yeah. So
and that's what gives us the vibes to do shit.
Yeah. So
gas.
We turn
that's
solids.
Crazy in and of itself.
We turn solids into liquids into gas into plasma, because it meets our electricity from it being a gas, because that's what it's called, the gastrointestinal GI tract. It's because it turns it all into gases, and those gases meet your electricity of your body and then converts those gases into plasma, so your body can actually do shit with that plasma, because your body's plasma based.
Wow. That's powerful. So where besides food can we get the gases from to get the energy to move about?
I mean, from all the elements. So food is just, material element. You get it from liquids, that's one way of not having to go through the alchemy of transforming solids to liquids. You can get it from gases, the noble gases that are in the air. That's another way to transform it, and, skip 2 steps. Skip the liquid step and the solid step, and then boom, you're getting it from just the air. Or you can get it from pure plasma in general, and then that pure plasma can be seen as also the mind. So pretty much like you're taking solid food, pretty much transform that solid food into the mind, because the plasma is practically the mind.
It's fucking crazy. Man, that's real shit though. So it depends on what level you're at. Consciousness will determine the types of substance that energizes you.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they say. That's why you've said the mental aspect of spirituality is going to be the hardest, because
it is.
Meditation is the most watered down portion of spirituality, because it truly is the hardest part of spirituality is the meditations.
That's why they call it Raja Yoga, the King's Yoga, the highest yoga is the Raja Yoga.
Because it goes into concentration
and meditation.
It gets it start off from willpower to do proper intents, and then it goes to the body with the stretching, the eating right, and the breath. But the last three are purely contemplation, concentration, focus, and samadhi.
And then they're like diving into the higher levels of samadhi. Like samadhi, there's like so many different types of samadhi.
At least 9, yeah. I base most things off of at least 9 samadhis, but you can consider there to be 15 samadhis too.
Yeah, maybe because of the branching off, right?
Yeah. You get to 7. You get to 7, and you pretty much have a 9, and now a 9 system after the 7.
Wow.
But that'd be 6.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That makes sense though. It creates 13. I can see that.
15. But
7
but pretty much 16 really. But I like to see the 15 dimensions usually match the samadhis. It makes the Western and the Eastern a little bit easier to correlate with. But the 9 is universal regardless, so I like to always make sure that there's the 9 there first, because we can keep it like that for the basic beginners for sure.
Right, it's safe.
Yeah, it's safer that way rather than adding those 6 extra on top.
No, this is definitely real talk. It's common knowledge that even colors can give people energy. They say Blu-ray people get energy from their minds, so just having the idea of something is enough to clear blockages and give someone energy. If you have the right thought can actually fuel you and get you through or get you going.
See, it's all really about bandwidth of thoughts. So every single thought has a story connected to it, and that story can either be a small little shadow story, or a story that's full of gifts and remembrances, or a broader picture story that's full of powers. And each thought has to be examined it's really all about organizing the mind. So that's organizing each thought and having 3 folders that has 3 different levels of story quality to it.
Excuse me, guys.
You're good. Story qualities to it, and putting each thought in those folders so that you get better and better about kind of the same way you're doing with the lychee. You're picking A's, B's, and C's. Like, you want as many A's as possible. The more as possible, the more currency. Right? And the more B's, a little less currency, but you can still flip them on the side. Eating a lot as well. And C's, nobody's doing shit with that, but, give them to the pigs. Give them to the swine. But that would be making it back to a B. But that's where the alchemy is at, though. That's where the alchemy of each thought can actually come in. You can be like, this is definitely a C-grade story. This is just a little shadow story. But you know what? The more I understand what I can really do, shit, give me those seeds. I'm gonna turn them bitches into fermentation. How about that? So,
especially if you're using that ferment to uplift people who get drunk all the time. So give them a dose of that, and then that alcohol experience can shift their whole patterns into a B wave, at least. Onto the A.
Yeah, gifts and then powers.
Gifts and powers.
Yeah.
And like you say, right,
gifts,
we have
then you get your
13
powers.
million more people to awaken before we just did.
Oh man, I forgot where that number comes from. What was that number from? Oh man.
That shit made so
4% of 4%. That's where that number comes from.
That's where
it's 13 million people.
That's where this idea came from today, where I say it's good. We got called out here to clean up the spiritual communities, because a lot of the people that we have work to do with are in the New Age or the spiritual communities that either denied indirectly or unbeknownst to them, or directly, more is science. Like a lot of them, if not most people in the New Age community, turn their noses away when they even hear the word more science. especially when you say, well, Nagas invented the refrigerator, the light bulb, art, science, soap, shampoos, stuff like this. Those are very triggering information. It's very triggering.
Well, I mean,
that's part of it.
People that claim to be spiritual definitely still have a racist paradigm still within their genetics. Most of the time, spiritual people don't have a definition of what the word spiritual even means, and that's okay too. That's just a mask that they're using, faking it to make it. But I'd definitely say that when I hear the word Moorish science, what'd you say, brother?
Well, I was gonna say more, but we were probably gonna say something similar.
Okay, so I'll say what I was gonna say.
Yeah, the Moorish thing. I was gonna just mention that it's not always
you
about.
Your brights on too, by the way.
MSTA.
Yeah,
it's
for
also
sure.
about moon war from Lemuria.
Okay.
Like pre-Atlantis times, pre-Islam.
Yeah, I mean, you give the Mauer definition or connotation in your direct train of thought and lineage of your language more than a lot of people I've seen. When you say Mauer, you're speaking more than just the noble or elite thing.
Right, which is very important.
It's a good piece of the puzzle for sure. Both the noble or elite thing and seeing the Moors for different levels of antiquity. And the science.
Not all Moors are created equal either. Let me stop.
I mean, if I could give a standard of what Moors would be, a lot of them wouldn't fit in the standard of it. And that's okay. That's okay too. It's just the same mask. Like, you can wear a mask faking it to make it. One day you'll make it. You know what I mean?
One day.
I was gonna say that when I hear Moorish science, what comes up to mind for me personally is taking the synthesis of Islam, Christianity, and Judaism and bringing it back to Kemet through the roots of Eastern philosophy. Right? That's pretty much what it comes down to, because in the last 6,000 years, that's when yoga itself got popular all throughout Africa, all throughout Europe, all throughout the Americas about 6,000 years ago. And that was also the start of the Adamites. And so through the Eastern roots, you can go beyond the Eastern roots and get back to the Kushite Empire and the Nubian Empire that was around the Naga world, right? Before modern day Hindus were modern day Hindus, you had the Nagas that were part of the Kushite and Nubian Empire around the world.
Influenced.
Yeah.
Inspired, created.
Yeah, I mean, and different sects had different clans and tribes, but it was very much still a galactical empire from the Atlantean times, with the Kushites and the Nubians all around the world, infused with that much Naga energy from Atlantis. So that's pretty much what I hear when I hear Moorish science. And if somebody can't break it down like that, then I'm just, if we're talking astrology or whatever they're talking about, I'm like, all right, well, I guess if you're going to be speaking with me about it, just go all the way, go all the way there. If you're going to talk about Moorish science, yeah, let's go all the way around the world. Because that's what the Moors do. They were the travelers. They made sure that they had ports everywhere so they could be tapped in and map out the realm.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny, because that's essentially what we're still doing nowadays. Like,
mapping out the realm.
Let me hook up this spot. Headquarters over here. Headquarters over there. Fly over here. Sail over there. I don't want to spend my winter time on Big Island. Or my summer. I want to go to my summer in Hawaii. I'll go back to the Dragon Garden for winters.
Yeah. That's at least a survival tactic. The ability to be able to migrate. Yeah, that's just a Moorish thing, right? No, nomadism is a Moorish thing. You don't ever get that correlation too often.
Nomadism and merchantism too.
Definitely.
Having products for sales.
Yeah, trades that you can bring with you everywhere.
You were sharing with me, man. I'll never forget, man. I was dying laughing. But it's so true. Like dealing in the breaths, have different breaths for sale. You know, like selling the breaths because niggas be trying to take the shit.
I mean, I see people vaping all the time, and what are they doing? They're buying breath. It's a fucking chemicalized breath, but they're buying breath, right? Yeah, I mean, one of the hugest industries is THC. That's a form of breath.
THC and nicotine.
Yeah. Smoking, THC, and nicotine. Those are forms of breath that people buy for a certain level of entertainment that comes from the chemistries of that breath.
Amen.
So, I mean, you got to breathe to watch any movie. In general, so let's do it. Technically, everybody's selling breath everywhere on the market, right?
By the dude, he just gave me a nugget. I was like, that's interesting. When I put it into my Ziploc bag, my little baggie, I'm like, my higher self was like, specimen number B, specimen B. Like, I'm about to
my next subject.
My
next subject.
Right here. And extract the information. You can do that without smoking it.
In about 10 miles, turn left onto Henry Street.